Hello, everyone. Welcome to the post match. Liverpool 2, City 0. Kazi called it dead on. No stress, Serzi, as you were afraid of. I mean, we're not used to watching Liverpool kind of like absorb so much pressure. So it was kind of like a weird watching experience. But at the end of the day, it's a huge win, up by 11 points with the game in hand. Brian is here, Serzi. Supposedly had a good game. So Anan, our Amarim lookalike, is in the house as well. We'll start with you, Anand, since you're making a rare post-match appearance over here. What did you make of that? That was freaking huge.
It's a huge game. And, when you look at the stats at the end of the game, City dominated in almost every single stat. But it's what the team did out there is go out there. It doesn't matter how you do it, you get the win. And that's exactly what the team did. Looked great, looked passionate. It looked like these guys really want to go out there and win this title. And I'd like to say we're 75% there.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking before the game. I mean, Sergi, I can only imagine your anxiety level because you were not used to absorbing so much pressure and watching the other team like pass around, trying to create and stuff like that. And honestly, I'm assuming I got to talk to somebody like my brother or somebody who's kind of like watching it as a semi-neutral, I guess. But really, they didn't create a whole lot. They got to the line and crossed it in, but it's not like they had a lot of clear-cut chances. So to the outsider, I would think it looked like kind of like easy defending almost, very compact, kept the shape, didn't give up anything. How nervous were you? What was your nerve levels?
They weren't. Surprisingly, I had to rediscover myself. And it's like, apart from on the right where Trent was doing everything he could to try and kill me today, we controlled the game without having the ball. And that's just I think that's philosophy of Slot. And I know it's like as much as Kazi hates stats and everything else, we're running a lot less this season. Our possession isn't as much as what it had been with Klopp, and obviously it's not a detriment to Klopp, but we're playing more intelligently, more maturely, and without having the ball. And that's what it's like I said before the kickoff, we have to keep a clean sheet, and we did. And Alisson didn't look like he was in trouble. Van Dijk, I know Sabozza got the man of the match, but Van Dijk, seriously, like he was just. This is why he is the best defender in the world, and he's shown it. And when he was needed, he was there. He covered the amount of times Trent let Doku through, and he was just there. He was just imperious, and it's like I really think he had that interview the other day and said, if I'm not worried, no one else needs to worry. I think he's going to be here next season. I think he just showed why we need him. Why Gabriel, Saliba, and whoever else did nothing compared to him. They can't even be in the same sentence as him. It was just amazing. And like I said, I can't remember last time we played City, and I thought, okay, I'm nervous. No, I'm not nervous. It just looked like how we were to them in a COVID season. That's how it seemed today. Like, they just couldn't lay a glove on us.
I mean, Kazi, you called the score dead on. We didn't even get the squeaky bum time that I was expecting, but I mean, it ended up being more like a 4-2-2-2, if you will, like the way we laid out with like 2 8/2 10s and stuff like that. And honestly, looking at, we were kind of debating it in the pre-match. Looks like Arne got it like spot on at the end in terms of the personnel he picked.
Yeah, the manager got it right. Definitely. I thought that was as comfortable as a performance can be. And I didn't see as soon as I seen that starting 11, I couldn't believe he picked it. And I was like, you're going to play right into our hands here. And I also felt, by the way, in the second half, when City had more of the ball, I don't think they created much. I didn't think they weren't. Alisson wasn't making, I don't think Alisson made a world-class save. He made standard saves to his feet, but it wasn't anything special. And then it also felt like Liverpool could go and get the third if they had to get the third. I thought if that went 2-1, it goes 3-1 within 5 minutes. Do you know what I mean? I thought Liverpool just go, okay, there we go. I thought we were that comfortable in the game. Do you know what I mean? So, but again, listen, and I'm not here to talk about Trent and things like that, by the way. I actually thought Trent was okay. I know we got roasted a few times. But you've got to think, though, Tim, right? Because he gets a lot of stick, the lad, and he has no defending at all. He has no help. And then Mo helps him for the last 10 of the first, which was nice. And then I just watched Robertson, Savinho have him on toast for 20 minutes. And then, it's okay though, because you can make Costas sub, but Trent can't get subbed until Kwanzaa comes on when it's dead, really, basically, whatever it is. So that's all I'm saying. And by the way, a lot of the Doku crosses is because Trent was leaning on him. At least if you get done, you put your body in the way and try and make it uncomfortable to get a clean cross off. I don't know if Doku putting many clean crosses into the box. That's all I'm saying. Because the lad's just getting lent on consistently by Trent. Do you know what I mean? So that's all. But perfect performance, professional, and this is far too easy, you know?
Yeah, I mean, if you go into Trent, man, I'll go on a defensive rant for 5 minutes. But to be fair, though, it did, towards the end, especially, you could tell that, like, if Bradley was healthy today, Bradley probably comes in the 60th or something like that and, like, really, like, helps out because you could tell Trent didn't have 90 minutes in him. I mean, Brian, ultimately, though, there's a lot of running and defending going on over there. We did not really have much of an outlet, but it felt like, I agree with Kazi, that if it wasn't 2-0 and a comfortable lead, we would have more outlets to attack. But it felt like we don't need to attack. We're just going to play it safe over here. If Mo makes something happen, he makes it happen. Otherwise, we'll sit back, keep our shape. You guys keep coming. Because they really could not create anything.
No, I mean, we took him out of that picture. I mean, it's interesting to look at De Bruyne and think and remember De Bruyne and see what De Bruyne is now. We basically just did them in. I mean, they weren't that great. They just weren't very good at creating anything. I mean, I think that Phil Foden right there tried to make a couple attempts, but he was just closed down. I mean, and that's also due to McAllister, because McAllister was just on fire in that match also. I mean, between him and Jones with their press, I mean, it was an amazing thing to watch. It's just inspiring right there to see that that we could shut down what this team is, and I don't think even with Haaland, because the problem with when they bring Haaland in is they use him as their focal point, and I think if they had Haaland, we probably would have beat them worse. I mean, I honestly think so. I think that they actually had more movable and fluid players with what they had out there between Mamouche and Savinho and all that than they had with the Haaland. And plus also those players backtrack and go there and set up. We shut them down. I mean, and, we just played what Slot does right there, like what we were doing toward the early part of this past season. Get sides, let them come up there, get our score up, and sit back and let them say, okay, sure, we'll just keep our shape and we'll just knock you back. And so, yeah, it was a good defensive performance.
I think good defensive performance. And honestly, John, your boy, since you're here, making a rare appearance over here on a weekend over here, with your boy Gravenberch and McAllister, they did not look like, oh, look at what they're doing on the ball and stuff. But man, every time like Doku cut in or Savinho cut in, all those crosses, they were the first guy to cut that off over there. The amount of defensive work and then the amount of like closing of gaps they did today. I mean, that 4 in the middle, I worry about Wednesday in that sense because they probably did twice, like 2 games worth of freaking like work defensively at least.
And I was worried about Gravenberch coming in because he didn't look too good against Villa in the weekend, midweek. He looked quite tired. And listen, it just showed in terms of the midfield on that subject. City looked like we did the season before Klopp's last, where their legs look really gone when we had Henderson and Fabinho and everything. It's just a nice flipping of the script, right? And listen, I'm not feeling the best today, but that win was just, it elevated a lot, man. So I just felt like I had to come in here and just join up with the boys and everything. But yeah, I guess the only thing I can say, like everyone already said what I wanted to say right before I came in, but I just wanted to kind of hammer home the point. I don't think Klopp does what Slot does today in terms of a tactical switch. We always come to the Etihad wanting to play our own gegenpress, and I'm not throwing any shade at Klopp or anything. He's given us everything, but you just have to hammer home that point, I feel, where he does the 4 in midfield, sit back. I just don't see him doing that. And, the fact that Slot had the balls to come in and do that, credit to him. From minute 1, you knew that's what he was going to do. And I was like, that's very interesting. And it worked out, 2-0 win. So, yeah, I just don't have much to say except I'm just happy with what happened,
That's an interesting point, though, Kazi. You think he does that if West Ham doesn't win yesterday? Do you think he looks at it as this is the way to win, or do you look at it like we're just going to control the game over here? Draw is not the end of the world.
I think it's that. I don't think that anything changed from yesterday in terms of the game plan. I think it changed in terms of the players' mentality. I thought they felt like they can go, fucking hell, we can just really, put a dent in here, kind of thing. And I said this before in the pre-match, by the way. You're not going to get City like that all the time. And our record at the Etihad is appalling.
Yeah.
You have to capitalise when they're bad. You need to go there. I know it's a bit different City side, but Arsenal went there last year and took their 0-0 draw and they celebrated like they won the league. And every Liverpool fan went,
yeah.
Yeah.
I have no idea. And look what happened. Right. So we know what it's like to go there. We always say this, lads, if you want to win the league under this Pep Guardiola side, you've got to beat City twice. Liverpool have done that. I understand it on the tap race, but we still did that. We still, you know what I mean? Like, that's still a thing. We still might take 4 points off Arsenal. Do you know what I mean? And then you can kind of look and go, well, you're beating everyone around you. That's why those defeats means, like those wins mean so much more to you. Do you know what I mean? But again, I'm just so happy with the lads because everyone today was great. And Tim, you're worried about Wednesday. Who gives a fuck? Rest all the players. Who cares? Fucking over anyway. I want to see a bit of Harvey Elliott and Endo getting run out. I'm fucking throwing James McConnell centre mid against Joe Linton.
Who was, by the way, Endo, his defensive awareness, man. His, anticipation of he's going to cut in here. This is where the danger is coming from is priceless at the end of these games.
This is the part, though, Tim, and I want to mention this about Endo before we move on here. The manager learned from the derby.
Yeah.
He probably knew he should have done Endo in the derby, and he didn't do him. And he's learned because he's done it every game since.
Yes.
And he's been brilliant every game since. And he's learned because we keep saying this, the manager's going to make mistakes. He's going to make them. He'll never ever do that again at Goodison Park or the new ground. He'll never go through everything again. Have a slender 1-goal lead and I'll put a defensive midfielder on. He will never do it again. And he's learned. And that's what's getting Liverpool over the line and getting these points along the way now.
I mean, at the end of the day, Anand, you look at yesterday, there is no easy games. That's a guaranteed 3 points in this league. I don't care how bad City is compared to the regular City. They're not like a terrible team. All kinds of quality. Yes, tired legs, but still all kinds of quality. They just injected 200 million into this team again. So it's still a huge ordeal to get 3 points away from home in a tough place to play. I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's not the same city and stuff like that. Does not matter because every team in this Premier League is tough. And a team that has been title winning, despite with all the charges and crap, with a lot of quality, this was not going to be an easy game. It takes a lot of defensive discipline to do what we did today.
Well, keep in mind, this City team is also the team that's on the bounce back. They went out there and they beat Chelsea and then they hammered Newcastle. What was it, 5-0 or 4-0? And everybody was like, okay, City's back. The players are gelling in. It looks great. And then, you're going to the Etihad and they're like, okay, you're not just going to go there and get an easy win. So we had that pressure of, okay, City's bouncing back. And what's a better game for Pep and his team to bounce back than against Liverpool at home? So it adds that pressure when you go there. Liverpool go in there, they get the job done, and they get the job done in, I'm going to say it this way, in the easiest way possible when it comes to nobody got injured. We didn't really have any threatening chances. We're like, holy shit, we might actually lose this game. And the player management. He made the changes that he needed to make. He made the right changes with the likes of Endo. Listen, I know it's funny when I joke about Curtis Jones, but obviously I hope you guys know it's actual jokes. I love the fucking kid.
I don't know about that. Now you're backtracking is what it sounds.
No. I like Curtis Jones. I don't hate the kid. I do still stick to what I said a year ago. Szoboszlai is the best midfielder in the club when it comes to player-wise, but every player does their job. Curtis Jones did his job today. He came in, the pressing he put out, that output, honestly, so beautiful to see. Like, we're so used to Curtis Jones, the guy who wants to dribble and do all these things. Yeah. Minute 4, he did try to juggle between 3 players in the midfield. It's okay. But when he's off the ball, his movement off the ball is so nice to watch. So he did that. He put in a shift. He deserved that goal. But then he comes out, we make the changes, and the right changes happen. You get the win. And you move on. The fans felt it in the stadium. The players felt it, and they didn't want to kind of make it seem like, okay, we know what's going on. Salah said, I didn't hear it. Szoboszlai's like, oh, I was so tired, I didn't hear it, because they don't want to add that pressure to themselves. This creates a whole new world. And now we go on. Listen, beat Newcastle, and I say it's 95% done, honestly.
I mean, I don't know, Brian. I thought, to me, this was the game. Anything can happen. I understand all that kind of stuff. But watching Arsenal, looking at Arsenal, even if they win every single game, which they're not going to, You need to win 8 games. Is that Lego heads all depressed?
Oh yeah,
over there?
That was the famous delete club, innit? From FIFA.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
angry. He was angry yesterday. Are you surprised with what City threw out there, Brian? Because like we know the legs and all that kind of stuff, but I'm shocked. We were talking about it when the pre-match. I mean, Kazi brought it up, and I was shocked to see it too. Bernardo Silva did not even come off the bench, which I was kind of sadly. I don't know why. I was happy not to see it because he's the kind of guy in a game like this will pop in the box in one of those crosses and actually do something. Are you shocked with how they approached the game?
I think that City tried to use these younger players with all their legs right there to actually make something out of this. I mean, honestly, right there, Mamouche was like about a couple inches right there from actually getting a goal out of that. I mean, and he was pretty troubling at times. And I think that they tried to come in there and force the issue on us, and they couldn't break us down. So they went, okay, we got to go back to Man City 1.0 right there and bring these guys in to try to break us down right there. They still couldn't break us down. So, I mean, I see where Pep's going with this. I mean, they're 20 points off us now. I mean, Pep's really got to worry as far as like Newcastle, Bournemouth, and that little area around there to try to come there and get that last spot right there because they can't afford to miss the Champions League. Because they miss the Champions League, it's going to be pretty tragic to them as far as what their aspirations go right there. But to go back to Anon right there, Anon said also about Jones because Gally Canther got him on a Discord, and so he changed him up a little bit. So we know what happened.
Believe me, Kaji and I know how Anon goes with the wins.
There's a
I just like to trigger Gally, guys. It's funny.
Who doesn't?
There's a part here though, right, about City. That, by the way, that City team will still win the FA Cup this year. They will still win the FA Cup because they're the favourites too. Right, you might get a surprise like a Forest or a Brighton or something like that winning at Brentford, but they're the favourites to win the FA Cup. Is that fair? That is the same City side, by the way. Look, devoid of legs in midfield, and they're playing the Club World Cup in the summer. They're in the United States in the summer in the Club World Cup. They're not even having a break before next season. They're just rolling in. They're just like, now we're fine. I'm just rolling into it. Do you know what I mean? I'm just amazed that he's rolled that team out again, and I don't know where they go. They look like they need 4 or 5 bodies, like big bodies though. And again, because Gundogan, Silva, De Bruyne, they're all finished. We don't know what Rodri's going to come out like. You know what I mean? She's been out for a year. We see what happened with Virgil. It takes 12 months. Because
you look at that Nico guy, and I know it's early, but like in the second goal, like his back tracking back and playing defense. It's like, dude, you gotta close. Like Szoboszlai is open there for like 5 seconds with nobody covering him. Anan could have covered them for God's sake. Sergi, you're the barometer for nerves. Anan is going for a 75% to 95% if we win on Wednesday and stuff. How confident are you with the title now? 11 points with the game in hand. Ultimately, you got to win 8 out of 11 to win it, guaranteed. But that's assuming Arsenal wins everything. I already think they lose points at Forest this week.
Oh yeah,
yeah, and
you're the barometer for nerves. So thanks for taking over. By the way, I appreciate it. But
I think we beat Newcastle. I think we're like 95% there.
You shit house. You
shit
houses. Fucking hell, it's over.
Wait, what? If we beat Newcastle,
I think we're 95% there. I think today, I think the Spurs game for City is a more important game for Pep on Wednesday than today's was. And I think that's why he put the lineup that he did. I think, today would have been a bonus if they got something off us. But they're competing against Forest, Bournemouth, Chelsea, Villa for the 5th place. And I think if it had gone full strength against us today, bearing in mind some of the players are tired, they just got trounced by Madrid, and if he put his strongest team and lost, I think that would have been more detrimental to them. I think today was like not so much a free hit, but I think even if they got a point today, that would have been a bonus. I'm just thinking that maybe Pep's thinking of why he put kind of a weak team against us. Spurs are also notoriously their bogey team and whatever, but I think that game was more important to Pep than today's was. But yeah, I think 95% there. If we beat Newcastle, and it's just because Arsenal are Arsenal. If it was Man City behind us, I still wouldn't, have been so confident. But
But what's
Yeah,
next?
it's
You're
Arsenal.
agreeing with Anand.
just-
What's next? You're gonna have Anand Taylor next week on the show? Is that what we should have?
The worst thing is my youngest son has a 9 hair, and I look at him and I don't know whether to slap him or whether to buy him a match.
Okay. This is getting dark.
I really wish I was in Cersei's I really wish I was in Cersei's house when Liverpool went 25 points clear the last time we won the league, and he's going,
right.
We got Norwich next week.
Hey, with COVID, you should have seen me when I'm talking about null and void. I was the worst person to be around, and I was like, seriously, what did null? I felt like going back to London, slapping the crap out of Karen Brady, and just shut up. There's no null and void. No,
we're fine. It's all done, gents. I'm gonna say it. It's all done. That's
you were on the bus freaking 3 months ago, then you got off.
I genuinely thought I was on the bus in October.
Yeah, you were.
And I was off the bus because I thought Arsenal might sign a striker. And then I also thought Liverpool might sign some contracts, but that's not the day yet. But I also just think that Liverpool, you are right, they need to win 8, but you need to win 7 if you beat Arsenal at home.
Oh, I guess true. Yes.
That's the other part. You can win 7. And Liverpool have 7 home games.
Yeah.
So, do you know what I mean? I just feel like now if you're Arsenal, I just don't know where you go. I just don't know how you get up for your next league games. It's over. You're 6 points clear of Forest. If you draw with Forest, you're like, well, they're done. They're not catching us, and Liverpool are done. And then you're kind of playing for your Champions League, aren't you? Do you know what I mean? Because you haven't got a striker. Yeah. So it's all done, gents. It's just a matter of when, not if.
It's been out of Arsenal's hands for the past few months, and I don't know why the media narrative pushes this narrative that it's in Arsenal's hands. It's been out of their hands. We had a few slip-ups where we didn't look as good as we've looked all season, so the narrative started ooh, trouble at Liverpool. But a win like today is more of a statement than anything, because what trouble? We drew to an Everton that were playing their last ever home game at Goodison. That was always going to be a tough game, more than any of us. Kazi knows how tough that game was, and he said, guys, if we got out of that thing with a point, congratulations. We got out with a point. Yes, it could have been 3, but we didn't even deserve the 3, so we move on. We go to Villa, this new Villa team that they're rebuilding, this whole new-looking Villa. Yes, we dropped 2 points, but we got out with a point. Villa just went over and beat Chelsea in a game where they were losing 1-0. They flipped it over. So those 1 points that we got are now okay for me. They look good because we went to the statement game, which is the Champions City. We beat them at their own ground. Now we got Newcastle, who just won today 4-3. Let's see what we can do. You finish that game, and then you've got Spurs, who everybody's saying, they're back because their players are back from injury. But you got Arsenal at home. Put the nail in the coffin right then and there and move on. It's been out of their hand. They're just a bunch of bottlers who think they're not going to bottle it every year. And every year, oh, we were so close. Okay, get it next.
I think mentally, Spencer and, China, you guys are right. I think the media wants a race, so they don't. Yeah. Let's face it. If we were outside looking in, we would probably want a race too, because it's pointless to watch otherwise. So I can kind of see that. But John, if you're an Arsenal fan, you had a chance this weekend. Has probably demoralizing as can be, because they did have a chance. If they beat West Ham and we lose to City or something like that, it suddenly almost becomes like it's in their hands. If they, it's still a big if, because they got to win away and stuff like that. But it was already a team. We know Arsenal fans; they're worse than like people like Onan. But it's basically you look at what they already were pissed off about, the fact that they don't have strikers. They didn't do anything in January. You add a hint of this weekend on top, and you would think they're done.
Yeah, I think there was a tweet after they lost against West Ham. Even if we did drop points against Everton and Villa, we actually gained 1 point all in all, which is ridiculous. I think it's just the conditioning of being with a title race with City, where we're all like, every draw is like a death sentence. No, it's not with these guys. And to Anand's point, where they keep pushing, the title race narrative, they're missing their best player. Absolutely no way in hell without Bukayo Saka do they come back and chase us. So listen, to your question a while ago, Tim, whether I'm on the Kazi bus now. I did mention earlier in the season, if we were at a certain point at this time of the season, right, kind of like last year where we were with Brentford, I was going to start believing, but I think this is pretty much what solidifies it. We're looking really healthy. Yeah, we're looking really healthy as well. A bunch of players coming back in from injury. Gakpo played a few minutes there, so bring on Newcastle, I'd say.
Can we just talk about Mo Salah for 5 minutes?
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, yes.
Please don't. I'll get really sad.
Why don't you do this Mo Salah for 5 minutes, then Anand will do 20 minutes of Szoboszlai, and we can wrap it up over here.
I honestly don't. In the Salah part here, How good is he there today? Every touch was perfect, solid, didn't give the ball away, knew it was a big game, knew he had to step up to the big game. And what a fucking football player. Like, you're literally watching. It's getting to the level now where is he Liverpool's best ever player? That's the level you're getting to. This is not, is he the best player in the league? Is he the best player in the last 10 years? Is he Liverpool's best ever player? That's the level you're getting to, a Steven Gerrard level and Kenny Dalglish level. That's it. Now, it's not even close. And if you deliver it with another league title, then, of course, the argument definitely gets strengthened. Liverpool might have their first ever Ballon d'Or winner. That's the level you're talking about here. If Liverpool win both the big ones and honestly, he doesn't win the Ballon d'Or, it's an absolute fix.
100%.
It's a farce because he is the best. It's another goal and assist again. He's done it like last 4 games. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous the level he's getting to. Like, even at the end when he plays Szoboszlai in at the end, and you could see how pissed he was because Szoboszlai missed because Kuchinov came over and blocked it. And he was fuming as if to say, lad, I always say, lads, right, the most underrated record in football is the Thierry Henry record of 24 goals and 20 assists when they do the Invincible. It's a joke of a record, that. Mate, he's about 3 assists away, 2 assists away from doing it with like 10 games to go.
11 games to go. He's going to kill that.
Ridiculous.
Henry did that in 38 games. He's at 24 games.
Honestly, it's absolutely insane how good of a footballer is. And we are watching. Literally, people tell your kids and grandkids about he is one of the best I've ever seen. He's a joke.
Yeah, I mean, John, I know you have to leave, so I'll give you the word before on your way out. I mean, he had a couple of. What was the pass before that? He had one to Szoboszlai. There's another one. Is that to Diaz or Gakpo? Like he threads the ball again. It almost feels like he would have even more assists if people could finish for him and stuff like that. Right. I mean, there was a point in the second half, I think 70 minutes or something like that. He kind of like cuts in and takes a shot, and he could probably play it wide and stuff like that. But you're like, you deserve it, man. I mean, you do what you are. You do you. Whatever you're doing, it works.
Yeah, and hopefully we got that contract sorted out behind. And I hate to be a downer here. Hopefully we do. Hopefully we do got it sorted out. With the whole Timuchin theory that it's all just kind of waiting for certain people to finish their signs. But I'll end up here in a positive note.
We'll see.
Listen, the thing with this squad, this is phase 1, Arne Slot, and we're probably gonna win the league. Like, there are still levels we can go up towards. Imagine getting a clinical striker to pair with Salah and Alexander Isak to pair with Salah next season, and 100%. I think we've pretty much got the league locked down.
Salah going to Newcastle?
I would say.
I swear, don't.
This Timuchin theory is so funny because Salah's gonna be like wearing a freaking PSG jersey and scoring in the Champions League, and he'd be like, "Don't worry, the contract's coming, guys. This is just."
How do you blocking on? Where's the block button? Block him off.
John, hey, thanks a lot for hopping on, man. Go worship the Gravenberg poster.
Bye, John.
Get some medicine.
Thank you, boys. Enjoy Sunday.
We'll bring our man Barak on over here. How are we feeling after that win, man?
Oh my gosh. I mean, in a way, this was. I even wrote it, right? So I'm not going to back away from it. But
that article is on the website because I know Anand gets confused. Go to American Scouser.
I was actually the one who answered when Kazi asked. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So I write a column called Barak's Afternoon Corner, taken quickly right after every game. And I write it immediately after the game. And usually it's up within 30 to 40 minutes, which is why I can't usually join this particular webcast. But the last one I wrote after Villa, and it was back to back to our Discord chat before the game. I predicted that we want to win the Villa game, but we will win the City game. So it's as expected in a way, but at the same time, holy shit, does it feel good, right? When I don't remember, I mean, getting 6 points on City in a season, that's not something I actually remember.
The first time since 06, I think.
Yeah, right. Yep. 20 years. Yeah, that sounds right. So that's pretty cool right there. And in that sense, I don't know. I mean, Pep is facing a challenge he never faced before, which is rebuilding a team. We all know that. It's going to be very interesting to see whether he can do that or he can pull it off. And if he can't, good on him. Poor guy also has gone through a divorce. I mean, let's not forget that. So I feel for him. And I think he showed class today. His little moment with Mo at the end was very nice to kind of see, right? They have a lot of respect for each other, those two. And so That was cool. Mo is, absolute legend. But as my column today says, I actually don't even think it was man of the match. I think the man of the match today was Konate. What Konate did today is absolutely kill City. The reason City dominated this game in every statistical parameter except scoring, right? I mean, and the reason for that is every time they got anywhere near the box, there was that, our big Frenchman, a big guy right there. And I don't know. I mean, sometimes I write that in the column too. Sometimes, you think he's lucky, right? When you're that good, when you're in the zone like that, it's like, for American fans of basketball, it's like Steph Curry, shooting threes, and you just don't know where the heck he's pulling them out of. It's the same thing. Yeah, a back heel that looks lucky. I'm telling you, he knew exactly where the ball was, and that back heel, he meant it. And City scored that goal. They're 1-0 up. And what happens to the game then? Right? So I don't know. Everybody had to show up. How good was Endo last 20 minutes?
Yeah, I mean, if you look, I was, when we were talking about, like who can come in and stuff like that, I was like, man, hard to take somebody off of this game aside from seeing like fatigue and stuff like that. I mean, Brian, I'll come to you because if I go to man of the match, we know which way that's going to go. I mean, it is overall a very solid performance, but if you picked one guy, I mean, actually, no, wait. I was going to ask you about this because the last couple of games, we had not seen a lot of like practice set pieces from this team, right? The last few games, every game there has been one or two that is literally from like the practice pitch, even if it's a short taking one, what the angles and all that kind of stuff. Today we do it and it works. I mean, that's a change by itself, I think, because normally we just throw the big boys in the middle and see if we can get a good delivery.
Well, Maka taking corners. Can I have more thumbs? I mean, I don't have enough.
Anybody but Rob, probably. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, it's nice to see a different change up right there because, like you said, right there, most of the time we're just going for the big guys. But even you look in there, I mean, how I think it was Rico Lewis was marking Verge at one point. I was like, whoa! I mean, it's like a entire like height difference and stuff like that. So I mean, if you went down toward the middle right there and actually went down and knocked it in there, we had lots of height advantage in that match right there. But I'm gonna go with what Brock said earlier right there. Konate was still amazing in that match right there. I mean, he just was anytime that Trent was letting Doku come through, it was like Konate was there sweeping it up the entire time. So it was again, it's hard to go in there to pick out a player in there that was down tempo because I think that everybody came there and performed above and beyond for the most part. I mean, but that center back pairing between Van Dijk and Konate together was pretty immense today. I mean, it was great to see a clean sheet. It was great to see them actually play off their skin.
Kazi, I'm going to jump to you because I know you have to run. We'll take some like last parting thoughts. We're going to start wrapping up here probably. Anyway, I'm actually going to hop on a podcast later on today at like 2:00 Central with Footy Fantasy. So I'm hoping there's like an Arsenal and a City fan on with me because it's like different teams. So that should be fun. Go ahead, Kazi.
No, I mean, listen, the man of the match is Mo Salah. That's how you win football matches. He's one of the best I've ever seen. It's not even close. He's by far and away the best player in the world. And this team is a very functional feels like a disservice, actually. They're a very, very good football team, but also extremely efficient. And sometimes being efficient can get you over the line and win you league titles. And there's one thing that I've seen Liverpool teams in the past is not be efficient and waste chances and waste opportunities. This team takes opportunities. They've smelt the blood in the water early on in the season that no one else looks right, and they've took it. It's all over. Plan your trips. Plan the weekends that you want to do with your family. Where do you want to be when Liverpool lift the 20th? Because I tell you right now, no one is catching this side. Who is catching these lads? No one is near them. No one deserves to be on the same pitch as them in this league.
Can we get a guards of honor from Arsenal?
We'll get a guard. It's all over by then. It won't even get to that. Honestly, we'll have the guard of honor from Arsenal. It won't even get to it.
Because that's what 3 weeks to go, right?
I think it's 3 games to go. It's all tied up. Honestly, it's go and enjoy yourselves, lads. Because I tell you right now, the next 11 league games at least should be a stroll in the park for you. There shouldn't be any. If Liverpool draw against Newcastle, who gives a fuck? Who cares? They're not catching us anyway. They're not nowhere near us. Like, honestly, yeah, you might have to write a bit of a negative column then, unfortunately.
It will be my lifelong dream to be in Anfield for that game.
Oh, that's right.
Fulfilling. Don't say that.
I'm praying for the win for you. I really am. But listen, fella, you weren't there with Wolves at home. 1-0, we lost under Roy Hodgson. I was there, trust me. I've been some bad days, Anfield, fella, you deserve one. But no, on all serious, lads, it's over. It's not close anymore. It's done. Go and enjoy your weekends. Book your time where you want to be when Liverpool win the league, because my God, no one's catching them.
Thanks a lot, bro. Take it easy.
Bye, Kazi.
Anan, I know you go with the man of the match. You said man of the match is Mo, but sexiest man is. If you do your hair, it's Amarin, bro. So I don't know. You
know me, how I started in the show, my hair was always to the side with a line. But since the Sobo thing, I changed my hair to have the Sobo hair at 34 years old. I don't care. But listen. Why you put me backstage? No, you hopped off. No, but listen, man of the match was Mo Salah. I don't know if you guys remember 2006 Zidane against Brazil in 2006 when he fully dominated the whole Brazil squad on his own. This is the vibe I got from Mo today. He gave me 2006 Zidane versus Brazil. Dominant on the ball, off the ball, doing everything for his teammates, creating, making everything possible to happen. 1 goal, 1 assist, could have had 3 assists. So overall, Mo was man of the match, untouchable. Barak makes a point with Konate. I actually agree. If we were more on the defensive side and it was bigger chances, Konate gets it without a doubt. Putting all this aside, what Kazi said, last time Liverpool won the league when Chelsea got the point at City, it was my wedding day. And then I got married that same day. It was not fully planned. And
congratulations to your wife.
Very, very short story. We did our religious ceremony, and I didn't cry, I didn't shed a tear. On our way back, we're in the car. Liverpool are winning the league. I start crying, and that caused the problem before we even got married. She goes, "You seriously are crying now?
You gotta play it off. You're like, I'm reliving the moment, honey, or something."
Like, you're crying now. You're crying now, but we just officially got married, and you didn't sit a single tear. I'm like, honestly, I waited for this for 30 years. I've only known you for 5, so it's really not. And listen, let's just say my father-in-law doesn't like me very much, but it's okay. It's okay. It is what it is. So in honor, I want to make this memory happen, and I want to make my family happy. So I decided I'll marry my second wife. No, I'm just kidding. If she's watching, honey, if you're watching this, it's a joke. Wow. Just got a text. You're sleeping outside.
Yeah, American Scouser is definitely not where you get your marriage tips with people like Serzi and Anan on board over here. So.
Well, with that being said, overall, listen, we're gonna win the league. I pray, I hope, as long as nothing bad goes, and we continue to keep the same attitude, same passion, we're gonna win the league. Enjoy it. Let's make everything out of it. And it's I think it's special for me because with you guys, because that's my first full season with American Scouser, and we've talked about this from the beginning all the way to now, and we lived it together, because the preseason in August we sat down and we did our predictions, and then we saw the ups and the downs. And if this goes on, I think I'd love for us to all do a big giant gathering where we can all celebrate together. That's really where I am.
You guys not gonna get together at the Newcastle game, right?
Yes. So I'll meet Barak in Liverpool. We haven't worked the logistics behind it yet, but we're doing the Anfield tour together. That's for sure. So that's gonna be
that slides room, maybe,
He's staying out of that one. Thank you very much. But yeah, listen, what a win. What a day. We go on. We beat Newcastle. For fuck's sake, we have to beat Newcastle. I'm going to be there for the first time as an adult without my father. So we better win. And other than that, guys, woo, on to the next one we go.
Thanks a lot, man. Sergi, let's get some parting words from you too, man, as we start wrapping things up.
It was great. It's like I say, how often can we say that it was a comfortable win against City? There's, even without possession, it felt comfortable. Kazi said it best. Salah, is, he is probably the best player I've seen. And I've grown up watching Dalglish and Rush and Barnes and so forth. Mane will always be my favorite, but Salah, he's just on a different level to everyone. He can even defend. forget Trent. We don't need it. We just have Salah just run up and down the freaking wing, defend, score, assist, save shots, whatever he wants to do. Is and and just to echo what Anand said, I've been in with you guys for just a good part of nearly 18 months. And so to share this with you guys, and I never thought I'd share a moment like this with a bunch of Yanks, but I'm glad.
I'm not getting offended because I'm not a Yank, so.
I think Brian is the only unoffended right now.
But it's seriously like when I came to
not really
like everyone used to wear like Man United shirts, Arsenal shirts, and now they're all gone. And yeah, it's nice. It's refreshing to be amongst people where even if we do draw or lose, there's no toxic environment, like no toxic supporters around me, because I don't know anyone apart from Liverpool fans out here. So yeah, it's great. And it's a good day. It does. I know we won the league. I just can't tell myself that yet until the season.
I hear you. I'm the same way. I hear you. I mean, yeah, up here, I think we're already there, but you got to still wait kind of a thing. Brian, how about you? I mean, this whole man of the match thing, I'm really torn. I'll have a whole spiel and a rant probably about Trent's defending and, compared to how Mo defends and stuff like that. I'm not even going to go there now. We're trying to keep it as positive as possible on a day like today. But, I mean, for the man of the match, you need a guy like Szoboszlai to do what we did defending. But then again, you do need a guy like Mo up there to bring – because if you don't have Mo, you can have Szoboszlai, but this is probably a 0-0 game. You got to have a guy who impacts the game on the other side. So I'm kind of really torn. You could have just split that thing in the middle and give him to both probably. Not to mention Van Dijk, by the way. I know everybody says Konate, but dude is like a wall in the middle over there. Like every single thing came off of him. But go ahead, Brian.
I know we said in the pre-match right there that we need to see Gravenberch come there also step up. Gravenberch stepped up, and he actually had a really solid match. So I think you have to go there and go and think about all around. It takes all 11 on the pitch right there to cross the finish line, and I think we got the performance from everybody in there that we wanted to. And, to go back even the next three matches right there on here, Arsenal have Forest, Man United, and then they're at Chelsea at home. They could possibly not win either one of those any of these matches, because I think that the United's not a bad side. They just have questionable players mixed in there, and I think that they were pretty close. So, I mean, it showed right there. I think that Garnacho could do some damage to them. I mean, and I think that's a thing right there. And I think that Cole Palmer can do damage to them right there. And I think this forward side is a good side. I mean, this could be wrapped up in March. I mean, it's a possibility this could be wrapped up in March and then move on and just go there and let this go on with everything. So, like Kazi said, just sit back and enjoy your weekends now. I mean, go out there and plan ahead. Go out there and look at when we actually go out there and win it. Go out there and start singing right there. Now you're going to believe us, like everybody did today and stuff like that. And just revel in this moment. And it's a good time, because I think the last time right there wasn't as sweet because it was the COVID times right there, and nobody was around the COVID there to actually go and celebrate this. Now let's make up for this right there and actually really celebrate this win.
Yeah, right. We were watching some. We went into a YouTube hole with last night again for some reason with Angie, and like one of the videos came up. I was like, yeah, that is the only thing about that title, right? The empty stadium and stuff like that. I really want a proper last game, God of Honor from like freaking Arsenal. Yeah, the whole shebang. I want the full complimentary package over here. Speaking of the complimentary package, Barak, we'll wrap it up with you. Your biggest task over there is trying to keep Anand's hands off of Szoboszlai. So make sure that happens. But we'll take some.
We're gonna fight. We're gonna fight for that.
Oh God. Let me go to YouTube and mark this X-rated. And you guys, go ahead.
No, so look, this is an interesting one, and what maybe a little bit of worry. We actually still need to get into another gear, and the reason is not the title. And the reason is not the Carabao final, which, we might lose. Let's be fair. The reason is the Champions League. And, I think we're better than pretty much anybody we can face all the way to the final. I think Barca can hurt us this year just because of the way they're set up. They have a particular setup that is, fits really well in terms of hurting us. And if they make it to the final, it's going to be an epic final, and it's going to be a difficult one potentially. I expect a high-scoring kind of final at that point. It's going to be very exciting. But yeah, we got to find that other gear, because otherwise, something that we were talking about, a quadruple, can end up with only the Premier League title. Sorry, I can't. It's very hard to
I'll
say.
take it.
Not laughing at
Honestly,
myself,
I'll
right?
take it.
Yeah,
But
right. Right, but this team looks so good. It really does. When you have Tsimikas coming in, and what did he have, like 3 or 4 critical defensive involvements in the last 20 minutes, including that back pass, which wasn't. But that was a really tough moment for a defender to make the right choice in that moment, and he pulled it off beautifully. And then Ali had a bit of a challenge to, like, do I catch it? Do I not catch it? I mean, it was a really interesting moment, and you could see the composure in the team, not necessarily in each player, but there's kind of like a composure about the team. They're not freaking out. They're sort of like trust each other. They kind of know what's going on, and that is so important. And that is, to me, there's so much of Slot in there, right? We have this thing where there's a lot of research. It's really interesting. There are a lot of statistics that show that most managers, as much as we like to think otherwise, have very little long-term effect on their team's results. That is a well-known fact. There's just very, very few that actually make a noticeable impact on results. Slot's one of them. And there was a tactical adjustment he did today with Mo, knowing that they're going to target Trent, and Trent is not in a good, that's not a good match with Doku, never was. So, Mo was playing a little bit lower than he usually does. Slot moved him higher as part of his system and routing everything through him, which is why he now has 51 goal involvements in March, or February. Sorry, we're not even in March, but he was noticeably playing lower today to defend that flank. And his defensive work was even more impressive to me than his attacking work. And so, there's something there that is special, but the team is going to have to find that extra gear for the Champions League.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I mean, let's win the league first, and then I'll worry about the Champions. But I know what you're saying. I guess if things go well, like Brian was talking about earlier, what that lets you do is maybe rotate and focus on the, we always talk about make a lineup for the weekend, make a lineup for Wednesday or Tuesday, whenever, and backtrack it that way. It does not look like Szoboszlai, bro. It looks like Amram. You can shape it any way you want. It does not look like Szoboszlai. But while you work on it, you guys have a great trip. Hopefully, bring us some good luck over there and get to see a win. Thanks all those for jumping on today. Thanks to you boys. I'll be back tomorrow morning with the Polish Prince. Enjoy the rest of your day and the Liverpool win. Yeah, we're almost there. You can start singing. Jamie's already singing in the audience, so you guys can start singing. Take care.
I think after Southampton we can sing it.
Just sing it over there on freaking Wednesday, man. What are you doing? Take care, everybody.